All right. Hello, everyone, Unlimited Wisdom family and community. Welcome to another Daily Wisdom. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Scott, Deborah Bronner, Dustin, Matthew, Eric Markman, Melody, Ryba, and Grandma Grady. And of course, my lovely wife, Terry, whoop, whoop, and CJ, the hostess with the mostest. I know that you guys are really going to enjoy this talk today. Today is the title is Why People Fail. Why do people fail? And welcome, Faith. And so each and every one of you, I know that I always tell people, hi, Lisa Mary, that the community that jumps on here all the time, we've worked through a lot of stuff where I think that people are comfortable. I won't say they are, but I'd say that the majority of people that watch this live or recorded probably are the people, if you've hung around me, are the kind of people that take personal responsibility. So if someone walked up to you and said, listen, I know that you want more freedom in your life. I know that you want more money in your life. I know that you want to give more to charity. I know that you want to help more people. I know that you want to help your family. I know there's a lot of things that you want. Could you please share with me why you don't have them yet? Why don't you have them yet? And I think that each and every one of us, I'm just speaking for you guys, but in the chat, you can speak for yourself. But I think that a majority of the people that I hang around would go, oh, that's definitely my fault. The reason I don't have the stuff that I don't have is it's my fault. Okay, so if you can admit that it's your fault, then that means that you could write down the things that you know that you're not doing. You also could write down the things that make you drift. If you guys are paying attention to that drifting series we're doing with Professor Dana Scratton, it's very, very powerful because, I know that there's a lot of people on the planet that don't know why they fail. You know what I mean? And I'll cover those in a little bit. But I really find it very, very interesting that if people that are not where they need to be in life in any area of their life, their financial life, their relationship with the people that they love, anything to do with their health, maybe anything that does with their mindset, right? Or their heart space, or anything to do with their connection with a higher power. I think when you really, really get to the place where you will take personal responsibility for it, then you should know what you're doing and what you're not doing. You should know the things that you should be doing. And we covered a video this week that the reason that a lot of people don't do what they're supposed to do is really simple, is because they haven't created a big enough imagination to get emotionally attached to move forward. So what we do is the things that we should be doing that we're not doing, we don't do them with the right attitude. So I know that we talked about that video earlier this week that, how many of you would be willing to admit, I'll raise both hands, that sometimes I do things, but I don't do them with the right attitude. I don't do them with the right intention. I don't do them with the right emotion. And we already all know that if you don't, then you don't get the right results out of it. You just don't. And so I wanted to share with people because I think it would be a really good video for brand new people to get involved with Unlimited Wisdom as we bring in millions of people to Unlimited Wisdom. It's like I'd like them to see a video because there are some people that are that take personal responsibility. Now, if you're not one of those people that take personal responsibility, I totally understand. But once you become aware that you can change and you should change and then you don't, then that becomes something called a choice. So if you know people that have difficulty with alcohol or drugs or something like that, it's like first they have to say, "Hi, I'm Robert Hollis, and I got to label the problem." Does that make sense? I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. I'm a whatever, right? For some people, they can say, "Hey, I'm part of a AA because I seem to be the person that consistently supports people that have those problems." I end up being an enabler, right? Okay. So when you talk to those people, they all have different circumstances, but mostly they feel like they're a victim. They just feel like they're a victim. And if they feel like a victim and they're always pointing fingers at other people and other situations and other events, then they never can get to personal responsibility. Because when you ask them, okay, why are you a failure? And it's like, well, my parents said bad things to me. You know what I mean? Or I grew up in foster homes. Or I was abused in some way, physically or sexually or mentally, whatever. And so what they do is they say the reason that they can't move forward. Again, life is pretty simple. You won't move forward in life unless you have something to look forward to. So we all know of those people, and I'm willing to admit that sometimes I slip into that. That would be drifting, where the reason I can't do certain things is because fill in the blank. Do you guys know of anybody, or do any one of you accidentally? Hi, Sandy. Hi, Scott, Faith, Shelly. I think I got y'all. Is sometimes mentally, when we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do, and we mentally go, well, I don't want to because I'm tired, or I don't want to because, my back hurts, or it's like, so whenever you're dealing with anything in the physical realm of trying to get in better shape, it is funny how, I was talking to a dear friend, Doug, today, and I reached out to him, and he's 66. And he's going like, man, all that stupid stuff I did when I was young, man, I'm paying for it now. And I go like, what? And he said, well, I used to race snowmobiles, and a lot of times I got in wrecks. And he said, and ended up in the hospital with some kind of broken bone. But man, was it fun back then. But now I get up and it's like, oh my God, those things, the decisions that I made. So a lot of people, talk about physical, or they'll also talk about, any kind of physical stuff with sickness, right? It's like I'm sick all the time, or blah, 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 blah. But the whole point is that why a majority of people fail. And now let's talk about a little bit of success. So if you know anyone that is successful. And again, I've shared this with every one of you. If you haven't written down your definition of success, first of all, you'll never achieve it. I've never said that before. If you don't know what success is, if you don't know what love is, if you don't know what happiness is, you better get your description of what it is so you can meet it. And a lot of people, if you ask them, again, you guys heard me say this before, is most people will never get what they want in life because they don't know what they want. You just say straight out to them, it's like, well, what do you want? If you could take a magic wand and you could have anything what you want, what would you want? I don't know. But they'll throw some stupid stuff out, like winning the lottery. You know what I mean? Well, I'd buy a home, or I'd buy my, people I love, I'd buy them some stuff. I'd get out of debt. Yeah, those are things that everyone would do. Did you hear me? That's stuff that everybody would do. What is the thing that you would do? What is the thing that you would do? And a neat example came in my head. Is some of you may or may not know this guy. He doesn't make a difference. But his name is Floyd Mayweather. He's probably made more money than virtually any person that's out in the fighting game, right? And the first thing that he had to do is he fought fights, and everyone said that he would sleep in the gym. And when he first started winning fights, everyone would ask him why he didn't have a car, why didn't he have an apartment? And he goes, because I constantly work out in the gym. I don't go anywhere. And the gym is in like a strip mall place, and I eat the same protein stuff every day. And he goes, and I don't need an apartment because they said I could sleep at the gym. And so someone asked him one day what he was going to do with his money. This is when he's really, really young. And he said, I need $50,000 to buy myself out of my contract. The only goal that Floyd Mayweather had is he needed to sign with a person in a contract, a promoter, a manager, an agent. And his whole goal was to make enough money to pay for himself to get out of that contract. As soon as he did, now he's working for himself. Isn't that crazy? So a lot of boxers didn't even have a thought of what the heck this was. But he was going, I'll be my own agent. I'll be my own manager. I'll be my own promoter. And so for those of you that know how much he increased, he finally signed a $300 million deal with Showtime. And what he did is he went up against Caesar's Palace and he says, listen, if you don't give me a deal, I'm going to go to somebody else. And they go, of course we'll give you a deal. And he goes, don't say that until you hear it. I know where you make a majority of your money. And they go, where? The concession stand. I want a percentage of every beer, every nacho, every So he got money on the pay-per-view. He got money on the tickets sold for the fight. And he also got money for the concessions. Are you guys listening to this? So then HBO wouldn't do the contract with him. So it's the first time that someone went to Showtime and he went, listen, this is how much I've made for HBO, and they don't want to do a deal with me. Do you want it? And Showtime said, yeah. So I think it was a 5-fight contract for over $300 million. Can you guys imagine this? And he's the one that did all the negotiation. And his last couple of fights, as soon as he signed the contract, one of the things that a lot of people didn't like about Floyd Mayweather is they would pay, $50, $100 to watch Floyd Mayweather because that guy was such an asshole that people would watch the fight to hope that he got his ass kicked. He was that arrogant. The stuff he said to people, you just wouldn't believe it. As soon as he signed that $300 million contract with Showtime, the very first time he shows up in the ring and interviewed, you thought you met a different guy. Because now I got this money. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to play the villain role anymore. I'm gonna play. He stopped trash talking the people that he fought against. It was crazy. And there was this one guy that was always, that he had this beef with. And he wanted to have him do the first interview with him. And as soon as he came up, he looked at that guy and he just said, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. The stuff that I've said about you over the years and the way that I've treated you with disrespect in the ring is just something I shouldn't have did, and I hope you forgive me. And people were like, who is this kid, right? So if you know a little bit about his flamboyancy, I mean, he would make, $100 million on a fight. And he would purposely go to the bank and order the money so he could get it in cash. And he would be sitting in front of a table that had like $30 million on the table. Bought Bugattis, these homes, the jewelry he bought, everything. He was just really nutty that way. The name of his promotion company was Money Promotion. Money Mayweather. That was his nickname, right? And he stuffed it down everyone's face. So now, all of a sudden, he cut this new deal. In the last fight that he fought, he reached out to Warren Buffett, told Warren Buffett that he wanted to pick him up in his personal jet, and that he had front row seats for Warren Buffett for his fight. And Warren Buffett went, "Why are you doing this? I just, more than just going to a prize fight, I need a reason why you're doing this." And he says, "Because when I get done with this fight, I'm retiring, and you're going to show me what to do with all my money." Now you've heard nothing from Floyd Mayweather. He's got his own promotion company, everything. But the other day I seen him interviewed, and he just said straight out, he goes, "So we heard that you hung around Warren Buffett." And he said, "Yeah, instead of Bugattis and expensive cars and homes and jewelry, now when people ask me what I do with my money," he says, "I think it's either 61 or 62 skyscrapers I own."
In New York, too.
Yeah. And what he decided to do is twofold, because Warren Buffett found his humanity side, and he also found his contribution side. And he said, "I want you to buy buildings and areas that are run down that you grew up in, like in Michigan. And you find an area that when you buy a building, that you can redo that building and make sure that everyone wants to move in there, and also make it so people can afford to live there." He goes, "Now you're giving back to the community, but I promise you, if you give these people that kind of respect, they'll take care of your property, they'll protect your property, and on top of that, give them something back that they can be a part of a community." So what he did is he created a community, and now people can actually buy parts and shares into that community that owns all these properties. And so, Sandy's, from Michigan, but we know what the Green Bay Packers did with their stadium. It's like you can't get a ticket to a Packers game because the owners was smart enough to give everyone that owned tickets a percentage of the company. How would you treat a stadium if you own part of it? So if there's a big snowstorm there, all the fans just show up and clean the stadium. Why? Not to do it just because they're fans. They do it because they don't want the company spending money clearing the snow if they can do it, because it would take money out of their account. So why am I sharing all this stuff with you? I'm sharing this stuff with you because the title, again, is Why People Fail. Hi, Bob. Hi, Michael. Angela. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Mary. Great to have you guys on here. And so why people fail is in that whole example that I shared about Floyd Mayweather. There was one thing that I hope that each and every one of you caught on to. As Floyd Mayweather knew, for him to get to a higher place of wealth and status, that he needed to find someone that's already there. Here is the biggest thing that I can contribute my success to. As I consistently seek out people that have already done it, and I don't do some of what they do. I do all of what they do. I don't add some of my ingredients. When I talk to people and find out why they're failing and why they're not doing as well as I'm doing, is I go, "Hey, tell me what you're doing." And they rattle off 8 things. If you go to their Facebook page, their social media, they got 8 things. So they're trying to recruit people, and people go to their Facebook and their social media and go, look at all the different stuff this person's in. All right? So Floyd Mayweather boxed. You guys understand what I'm saying? So when I was a mechanic and I learned to be a mechanic, I hung around other very successful mechanics. Now, what would be a successful mechanic? Not just based on the money they earned. No, they're building race cars that go to the racetrack and win races. I went from that to being in a trade school. Now, I was very lucky because it was in my state, but I went to the #1 trade school, graduated top of my class. When I left there, I went to work for a guy named Roger Penske that was #1. Are you guys hearing a deal here? And so people look at me and go, man, Robert, I just wish I could do what you did. You won't, because you won't follow directions. If someone tells you to do something, you go, yeah, I'll do that, but I'm also going to do these other 8 things, these other 10 things. And I just have to wait, because the majority of these people I know for a long time. So in 60 days, they added some shit to that list. Every 30 to 60 days, they added more, they added more, they added more, they added more, they added more. And what I think is really funny about these people, because they're good people, they're very wonderful and good people. But if they never delete their pictures on their Facebook profile, you just can go to their Facebook or social media profile, click on photos, and just start going through them. And just see, well, now they're doing this, now they're doing this, now they're doing this and this, now they're doing this, 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 and this. Now they got rid of that one. Hey, Eric's wife, love ya. And how many of you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like, so the goal is to build residual income. To build residual income. That's where you get freedom from. You have to create or build something that brings income in, whether you're working or not. And most people go, yeah, that sounds like a really good wealth principle. Just, I ain't doing it. What I want to do is things that create income just from my efforts only. So if something happens to me, everything's gone. If I don't show up, it's gone. I'm the person, I do everything. So the reason that I'm successful is I consistently find people that have the results. Craig, say the statement. Success leaves clues. That's where I heard that from Jim Rohn, is success leaves clues. And what you got to do is you just got to look at people and go, okay, I want that lifestyle. And the thing that people mess up and why they fail is, if you ask me personally, 39 years of doing this, I'll be 40 years in November. And I probably have gotten, I don't know, it's been better than I sometimes lead on, but I would say that there's about 100 people that have followed the instructions to the point where they not only made a lot of money, but they also had that ripple effect. I got 9 people that I've taught that own their own network marketing company. So now that company leaves ripples. That makes sense? So not only did they give me credit for being a millionaire, but they've actually made tens, if not hundreds of millions, and people in their group has made millions. That's when you can see the click of what's happening, right? So why most people fail is, if I tell them what they need to do, they will not do it. And here's the funny thing they do. They think they do. If you ask them, if somebody else asked them out of nowhere, hey, listen, who's your mentor? Robert Hollis. Really? Tell me what you do. And they would say it. And they go, why would you do that? Why do you do that? Because Robert told me. Prove to me that Robert told you to do that. They could actually conjure in their whole mind that the reason that they're doing what they're doing the way they're doing it is because they say that I'm their mentor and I taught them, but you cannot find any evidence whatsoever that I did it. Let that sink in. So that's when you're really good in your mind of just, I don't know. I said one day I'm going to do a doctor character, and the doctor was the first character. And they come out and they diagnose everybody with anal cranial inversion. For those of you that need that broken down.
Let me do it. Head up your ass?
Yeah. Because most people got their head so far up their ass that no one's ever stopped for a second and said to them, you are not following anybody. You're not following instructions. And when people tell you what the keys are to wealth and freedom, you 100% effing ignore it. So that's why most people fail. So now let's just talk about a little bit of other ingredients, right? I love doing this all the time because you guys know that with AI and Google, don't you guys know that you can go on AI and Google and put in how many people make $100,000? How many people in the United States makes 100,000? And believe it or not, that's like 18%. All right. Now, if you said, how many people make $100,000 a year US in the world? Holy cow. And that's obvious, right? Some of you know that. So it's, I don't know, it's like 4% or something. But now 250,000. So if every one of you that hear or watch this video live or recorded, what do you think is a good, respectable income to earn? To do the following. Give to others. What kind of income does a person really need to earn to feel like they're doing a pretty good job of giving to others? Because that's the way you got to measure income. Because a lot of people, again, there's this little flip that if you listen to people, they'll say that true wealth and riches and happiness comes from giving to others. And every time you say that to yourself, here's what you say. Well, I can't give to others unless I'm making money first. I got to get myself there first. I can't give to children and orphans and widows until I get there first. That is not the golden rule. That's not the way it was written up. And that's why a majority of the people fail. If you just told them, how much money do you give? How much time and effort do you give to other people every week? That's why people fail. Because they still haven't flipped that paradigm in their head to understand and believe that if they gave to others long enough, that something would kick in. It's again the whole plant and harvest situation. It's the whole thing that there's a lot of people that do not believe that if you take care of the soil and you prepare it correctly and you plant seeds, that the seeds will grow. And for some of you that have heard me say this statement, it's like anyone can take an apple and cut an apple open and count the seeds. But only God knows how many apples are in each seed. So I've shared this. It's like everybody wants to make the world look like it's so difficult, when a person could very simply get an apple tree and plant it and take care of it. Every year, we have neighbors around us that come into our yard, ask permission. Sometimes Terry lets them, sometimes she doesn't. No.
The whole damn tree if they want it.
But they're always asking if they can pick our apples and our pears. And it's like the tree has so many apples on it that it breaks its branches. It's crazy how many apples this tree produces. And you guys have heard this phrase before. When is the best time to plant a tree? 100 years ago. So if you didn't plant one 100 years ago, what is the next best time to plant a tree? Today. So one of the things that I say to people is life's so simple because if you got a tree and you go to, for those of people that live in California, you'll see a lot of people that will take those apples and those oranges and they'll put them in bags and they'll sell them on street corners. And now all of a sudden you make enough money where you can get another tree. And then you make enough money where you can have a lot of trees. And the classic thing that it was always said by a real interview, you can Google this and AI it, but there was an interview with a person that was the largest landowner in the United States. Big giant farmer, big giant rancher. And they asked him what was his key to success. And he said he learned from his grandpa and his dad. And he said, all you wanted to do is take care of your land well enough to have enough money to buy the land next to it. So for generations and generations, they just made enough money to buy the land next to it, and then buy the land next to it, and then buy the land next to it. Do you guys understand this? And there used to be a book out there. I wonder if they still do it, but it was called The Millionaire Next Door. And this book would go through stories of people that you knew that you knew that you knew that this person was not a millionaire. And then you find out, yeah, well, I see the way they dress. I see the way their yard looks. They still drive a used vehicle. You know what I mean? It's like, ah. So why people fail, here's another aspect, is a majority of the people, and I'm going to tell you how big it is. It really truly is 97% of the people. So if you're doing some of the stuff I'm talking about in this video, just understand that you're with the masses. And you think that you're not with the masses, but your income and your assets say that you're still in the masses. And that simple thought is people will not follow a proven system. They just will not. Now, you might have to ask yourself, why? Why, when I reach out to somebody, they're documented, documentation beats conversation, and then I ask them, what should I do? Tell me what to do. And then they tell you, and you ignore it. So you got to ask yourself that question. Why would I ignore information from someone that's not only made millions, but is also documented on helping people make millions? Why would I totally ignore that information? First thing I'll say to you guys is maybe it's as simple as you don't know what you want to do. So since you don't know what you want to do, you're just not listening or found the right mentor. See, I think what a lot of people do is they'll reach out and they'll listen to somebody and then they won't do what they tell them because they don't see themselves really doing that for the rest of their lives. Does that make sense? You want to. You're going, oh my God, this guy makes millions. This girl makes millions. They do this, this, and this. They show all their stuff, their new home, their new vacation, their new everything. But I really don't want to do what they're doing. Well, that's okay to admit, but it shouldn't be okay to say, hey, who's your mentor? So when I'm really working serious with somebody, I just simply ask them, tell me, who right now do you admire? And who are you following right now? That answer is usually nobody. Now, if they tell you that they're following somebody, let's just go through a couple of scenarios here. Me personally, I worked with people that were way smarter than me that knew how to build cars. So I was part of a group of people that built a race car. People that were way smarter than me than I learned from. You guys hearing what I'm saying? So if I'm working with them, helping them build a race car, how many of you guys believe that I did exactly what they frickin' told me to do? See, because you don't get to keep working on the car. So all of a sudden they come back and they go, who did this? I did. Why did you do this? Well, I was trying to be creative. You know, I want to be me. And like, you don't work here anymore. And people were going, were they that serious? Yeah, because people drive those cars at 260 miles an hour. You don't get to be creative. You do what I tell you to do. And then you kept working up where you got to think with people, but you still didn't get to do your own thing. So after doing that for 27 years, and then I meet my mentor, and you guys have heard this many times. This is how simple I am. So I had a friend, Sean, tell me, I met a guy that showed me a $62,000 check. What was my first thought? Bullshit. Bullshit. I want to meet him. So then I go meet him and I say, can I see your check? And he says, yeah. I look at the envelope that it's in that came from the company. I looked at the check. I looked at the pay stub that it was attached to. And I was like, this is for real. Had that little watermarking stuff on it, you know, so you can't Xerox it or try to, you know, steal it or counterfeit it. And I only had one check. I said, I went, why haven't you cashed this check? Listen to this. Because most of the people, 97% of you watching this live or recorded, would not do this next step. He said, well, my mentor told me that I couldn't cash this check until I get the next one. How many of you, if you got a check and you had bills to pay and you were struggling financially, would have cashed the freaking check? You see what I'm talking about? He's like, listen, no, this is the check we got from working the last 45 days. This is a check that you're going to use to recruit other people. And then you get to change it when your other check comes. Oh, I want to share something with you. My mentor did this to me. If you show everyone that you have a $62,000 check that you made for last month, how good would it feel if the next check you show them is smaller than 62 grand? Can you see where you would lose momentum? So you think you worked hard the last 45 days. Now I need you to step it up even faster. You got documentation. Let's make this fly. So now that he told me that, the next thing I need to know is I go, well, are you the only one doing this? No. Grabs his little flip book, has little plastics in it. And he had people that had checks of $10,000 or more that were holding the check with him next to him. It's like this girl was a waitress. This person worked at a preschool. Terry knows all these people. You know what I mean? This person sold pots and pans. This person worked at a pager store. It just flipped through them. So now I know that his mentor taught him how to make 62 grand. And he used that same knowledge to help these people that have never done it before make $10,000. So now I only have a couple of questions, right? Tell me what to do. And the difference with me and a lot of people is when people tell me what to do, I do it. Isn't that amazing? What a concept. And I even had this little thought in my mind. If this guy makes money off my volume, my production, and he makes money off my production, this guy wants me to crush this. He wants me to make 60 grand, 100 grand, 120 grand. Because if he's getting paid off me, why would he give me the wrong information? So now let's talk about Robert Hollis today. I want to figure out what's going to happen in the future. And so all of a sudden, I start watching this guy named Alex Hermosi. And Alex Hermosi does a 24-hour video where I watched him live make $104 million in 24 hours. What do you think most people look at and say, that's stupid, I'm not interested, I ain't doing that? It's like broke a Guinness Book of World Records, sold 3.6 million books. No one sold more books than him in nonfiction in 24 hours. Nobody. But then I find out he's also an owner of school. And he invested with Sam Ovens. And Andrew Kirby was the first investor in school. So then I find out that they have school games. And you can actually go through school games and see what everyone's making that month, that quarter, and also lifetime. So it's not one person that's making 100,000 plus a month. There's people making 200, 300, 400,000 a month. So now I know that he did it. I know that other people can do it that follow the system. And it comes down to the last thing again. Okay, can I do this? Oh, can you do this? I took the time to put together all the videos and I'm going to put them in the back of school for free. All you got to do is watch all the videos. I've done every little thing that you need to do to get to $1 million a year. Why do I want you to get to $1 million a year? Because I want you to pay me money to show you how to get to 10 million. And I can't tell you guys how many people I've introduced to school. And they get in, they don't go through the videos, they don't do what they're told, they start drifting, they do 20 things, and the next thing I hear from, nah, I'm not really doing school anymore. When these guys told me that if I was the leader of the group, that I really put my effort in, made it very valuable, that people are going to click on other people's schools, and I would end up getting a majority of all my new school members from school. They were going to make sure that I get people from school. And the next thing I look, and there's 1,600 people there. I get a paycheck from school every week. Is it where I want it to be? No. Am I doing everything they told me to do? No. Because the two things that I'm missing is I'm just not telling enough people about school. I'm not doing enough lives on other social media telling people the value of being in school. Are you guys catching this? Because if every day you're excited and you're telling other people why that's valuable, then that's going to be valuable and people are going to see it. They're going to get involved. But there's no doubt that I'm following the right people. You guys following that? So that's just one example of what I'm involved in. Now, for some of you that was on yesterday, for those of you that are not premium members, I apologize if you're not a premium members, but how many are premium members that's seen some of the stuff that Matt's doing right now, and you're just going, for the love of God. You guys will get to see it. But right now, I've been telling myself for years that, do you guys realize not only have I made a lot of money in the last 39 years, but here's something else that I've done. Do you know all the companies that I got involved in? The person that had the dream, had the vision of creating that company, I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Would you guys like to guess how much money I've made, Josh Swagel? Isn't that crazy? Because if he's paying me 10% and I make 5 million, then I've at least made him over $50 million. Do you think Josh likes me? And if you go to every company owner before that, Craig and Melody know a guy named Jovan Kabasic. Between him and Chris Tidwell and Mr. Liao made them hundreds of millions of dollars. And I always said that there will be a day where I'll be able to go out and do nothing but promote my son. So if I can make somebody else millions of dollars, why can't I make my own family millions of dollars? Oh, wait a minute. I have already. So I just want you guys to know that if you keep getting involved in stuff and for whatever reason, it just never really ever happens, I shared with you today why people fail. Watch it over and over again and just simply ask yourself a question. This still blows my mind. Now, first of all, let me end by saying this. The core to your happiness is really, really the key. Your relationship with the Creator, how you love and like yourself. Some of you do not, listen to me, some of you do not need to make millions of dollars. Some of you are doing perfectly okay just doing what you're doing. And if that fulfills you and making you happy, and you are contributing to others and also loving yourself, you don't have to do what I do. I just think that if you would like core things like making money when you're sleeping and not working, and having your money go up every month, and you having a whole extra amount of money to just do whatever you want to, including help children and widows. See, if you don't want that, then you don't have to apply wealth principles that I learned. So it really comes back all to what you want, right? So if you want a lot of money in the free time and give a lot of money away, you're going to have to apply leverage and residual. I don't know how to do it. So people always tell me what they're doing. And as they're telling me, I'm going, wow, no leverage, no residual. So if people that make the most money on the planet have a lot of people responsible for their income, and they're doing stuff every month that generates some income without their doing it, then they applied those two. Hey, you guys, do you think that Uber uses residual and leverage? Yeah. Does Airbnb? Yeah. Do you guys realize there's companies that make billions of dollars that don't even own the thing that makes the money? Airbnb doesn't own any properties. But they found this thing called leverage and residual. So they thought, wow, if we could get a lot of people to actually tidy up their place and then take pictures and stuff and put it on a website, what if we could get a lot of these people to help us? So how about Uber? How about DoorDash? See, if you look at any company out there, you guys, they use use leverage and residual. So what's that question that you should be asking yourself? How many people right now do I have that are making me money? Okay. See, I'm not telling you that you need to change. I'm just saying that you can live the rest of your life the way you're doing it right now. So, how many people got the reasons that you fail now? Okay. It's like in this day and age, because of AI and because of the internet, you can definitely learn from people. And so you guys know what got me. My mentor looked at me and I go, I still don't understand how you make 62,000. And he said, listen, I got 30,000 people responsible for my income. What else would you want to learn? I'm like, I just want 30,000 people responsible for my income. When I have 30,000 people that are paying a monthly subscription, what do you think I'm going to be making? When you heard what I just said, if I had 30,000 people that I was getting paid a percentage off every one of their subscriptions, don't you guys realize that if you learn that skill, that I can do it in anything? Doesn't make a difference of the product, doesn't make a difference of the company. Imagine 30,000 people paying $49 a month. And all I earn is 47. Bob, you good with calculator? It's like, do you guys get this? So that's why people fail, is they will not find an instructor, a mentor, a coach. They don't know what they want. And because they don't know what they want, they will not follow instructions. If you ask them throughout their whole life, they've never followed instructions from anybody. So that's why people fail. So I hope that was great information for you, because a lot of people reach out to me all the time. Well, I just don't understand why so many people fail. Hey, listen, there's only 5% of the people that make 250,000 a year. For all the people that are working in the United States, do you think it's from a lack of information? It's not, is it? There's people that make millions of dollars in everything. And then they give you all the information for free on the internet. And people go, I'm not watching this stupid person. And even if they watch that stupid person, I sure in the hell ain't going to do what they're doing. Have any one of you ever had more than one diet? Same thing, isn't it? Like, I'm going to do this diet. No, I'm not. I'm going to do this diet. No, I'm not. I'm going to do this diet. No, I'm not. It's not whether or not the diets work or not. It's just 97% of the people go, I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. I'm not showing up. I'm not doing what you're telling me. I'm not going to do it the way I'm supposed to. I'm just not gonna. So that's why everybody signs up for a gym membership. And in February, you go in there and there's no one there.
Only twice.
Just
Only did it twice.
yeah. Does the
Tried 2 times.
does the equipment in the gym work? Have you guys ever gone on reviews? This gym has this gym equipment. Could you give me some reviews on people that go, listen, I'm telling you, I joined this gym. I used all the equipment in the gym. It didn't work. Yeah, you don't all of you just start laughing and going, listen, that review ain't out there. But someone could blame a person that was telling them. But that's what? Pancake has 2 sides, 2 stories. So a person says, hey, I hired a personal trainer, Arthur, And when I hired Arthur as a personal trainer, I'm telling you, I didn't lose any weight. And then you call up Arthur and you go, "Hey, did you have a customer or client named Robert Hollis? Let me look." "Oh yeah, he signed up with me in January." "Well, you act like you didn't know him." "I don't. I've never spent any time with Robert, but I can tell everyone that Arthur was my personal trainer and he sucks because I didn't lose any weight." It's like, I'm not doing anything that Arthur told me to do. That makes sense, you guys? So I love and appreciate you. You got anything to say? Why do people fail?
You just told him.
I just told them. There we go. All right. I love you guys. So thank you, Mary, Scott, Faith, Scott, Dustin, Shelley, Melody, Lisa Marie, Coach Bob, Michael and Angela, Matthew, Hannah, Ez, Arthur, Eric, Deborah. I look at Deborah and she says she's got Grandma Grady. So I got that. Okay, so Grandma Grady, thank you very much. Terry, and then of course the hostess with the mostest, Craig. I love and appreciate you.